When we planted our first cut flower garden in 2015, there was not a lot of information for how to do this, and for sure not as a side hustle. We did a lot of Googling, but a lot of the information was geared towards full-time cut flower production. Because we were doing this as a side hustle, we didn't want to invest right up front in a greenhouse and big farm equipment. Wanted to learn how to do this small scale. So we made a lot of mistakes in the beginning. We're a little stubborn. You should know that about us. So sometimes I think we just thought we knew better than what,
or we just were lazy.
Yeah, or we didn't have time
to do it. Right.
A lot of time it was just
Right.
it was a time issue.
Right.
So like for instance, we didn't stake all of our dahlias one year and lost half the crop to flop. Oh, I still just chuckle about this. We planted our first. We bought parrot tulips. And we thought we need to give them plenty of room, so each bulb gets enough nutrients. I don't know what our thought process was, but we planted them a foot apart. And I think our stem length was about that long that year.
We also planted flowers where they didn't do well, just because we didn't take into consideration either the soil conditions or light, like sun or shade.
Yeah. We lost entire bloom cycles of roses to Japanese beetles. And let's just say they're still our number one enemy in the garden.
Some things we also didn't really consider much in the beginning was like irrigation, fertilizer, healthy soil. It took us a little bit of digging and a little bit of experience to figure out we need to make sure we've got a plan for each of those too.
We tried so hard to do this with little investment on the cheap the first year. And I think we finally realized you do have to spend a little bit of money. Mm-hmm. And it makes your life a lot easier. So we'll just share the stuff that we've done to make our lives a little bit easier.
In this class, we'll talk you through some of the sort of fundamentals of cut flower gardening, talk about potting soils and trays, how to start plants indoors, also what grow lights we use.
We'll also talk about hardening off and transplanting, plant spacing, pinching plants, netting and supports, mm-hmm. what we do for that.
Mm-hmm. Sun, shade, soil conditions, how those affect your garden or plants. Weed control as well, like how do we keep the weeds down, irrigation, mm-hmm. What plants we irrigate.
Mm-hmm. We also do a no-dig method, so we'll talk about no-dig and compost, which is one of the most important investments I think you can make. And then also the pest and disease control that we use.
Mm-hmm. What we share with you is what we've learned, and we've taken information from other people and just sort of tailored it to our little operation. So we've had to find ways to make it work for us. You'll probably need to do the same.
The challenge for every gardener is to take the generally available information and apply it to your specific situation. So we're just telling you how we did that for us, and hopefully that will help you to know kind of what to even think about.
We have a Q&A section underneath each lesson, and that is a good place for you to ask your questions that we maybe didn't cover in the class. And we'll try to pop in there. Like she said, this is a side hustle, so we'll try to pop in there fairly regularly and answer the questions. You may want to just read down through if there are any there already. Your question may be answered already, but just take a look at that and let us know if you have questions. We want to make sure that you can take this information and have a successful cut flower garden. That's what we want the most.
Right. And we'll answer your questions if we have the answers. There's a good chance we might not. But
we'll try to help you find
yes.
a place to find answers
yes.
if we don't know them ourselves.
Yeah.